A good day to all our listeners all over the globe. Welcome to another edition of ỌDADEƐ Sports Digest, a program that looks or goes down memory lane of Presec sports. What made Presec sports awesome, how some awesome personalities were built in various different disciplines and made sports in Presec stand tall in secondary cycle sports competitions back in the day. The tradition still goes on, and Presec is still a giant when it comes to sports. Today, we want to have a look at the current state of affairs of sports in our school and generally sports education in Ghana and its general impact on the fortune of sports in second cycle institutions. But before we begin, as usual, we want to say a very, very special ayiko to all ỌDADEƐ sporting heroes of yesteryear and to all ỌDADEƐs who formed the cheer group. Those of you who didn't do sports, but we were cheerleaders. You are the reason why we are doing this program. So my question of the day: who was your favorite sports hero of all time in Presec, and what event did they do, or what event did you most admire to see them do? Please send your response right away. You can send your questions and comments ahead of time on our WhatsApp number on 02000 92925 or our social media handles. We are looking at Twitter, formerly X, at ỌDADEƐ Radio, Instagram at ỌDADEƐ Radio, and Facebook at ỌDADEƐ Radio Ghana. My guest for today is the main man in charge of Presec Sports. He's the head of physical education unit of Presbyterian Boys Secondary School. He joined Presec Legon staff permanently in September 2010 and did after a 1-year internship program in the school in 2009. Right? Yeah. Yes. He holds a bachelor's degree in physical education from the University of Education, Winneba. Before furthering his education at University of Education at Winneba, he had taught for 8 years at the St. Peter's Anglican Primary School in Begro, near my hometown, Osino.
That's right.
After a successful 3-year teacher training at SDE College of Education, Asokore Koforidua in 1998. While in Begro, he was one of the sports teachers in the school. He later became the sports coordinator of the Begro zone. He's an old student of Koforidua Sectech, my old rival school. He tells me that over the years in Presec, the school has chalked some successes in sports, athletics, basketball, table tennis, football, handball specifically, and he'll be telling us more about this later on in the program. He's married with 2 children. My guest is Mr. Nathaniel Mate Buchi. You are warmly welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for accepting our invitation.
You're welcome.
Yes. So today, this program will mainly look at the current state of sports in Presec. However, in this first part, we will look at our guest's background, his role as the sports teacher, policy guidelines to physical education, the school sporting activities, and so on. So let's quickly dive into it.
All right, sir.
Yes. Can you briefly tell us about yourself, your background, the school you attended, family background, etc., and how your interest in sports all started?
All right. So as you rightly introduced me, let me greet your listeners, yes, or our listeners.
All over the globe.
All over the globe, yes. And I hope all is well with us. Yes. I must say that growing up, I wasn't a sports person because of my physique.
Okay.
I was that tiny. And so going into sports, I mean, people will not give you that chance. So I can't say me so. Yeah. So after training college, I was posted to Begro to teach in the primary school. And over there, that is where the sports thing started. So I was in charge of netball. Yes, okay. Netball. That was where my interest was. So then through that, I became the zonal organizer. Then rose to become the district organizer, helping the district sports coordinator in the organization of sports in the district. Then with that, I worked for 8 years. Then I decided to further my education. And even that one, it was a bit difficult because I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go into sports. I wanted to do something else that would take me out of the classroom. Okay. So I tried once, twice, all I failed. So the third one, then the sports coordinator at the district, Mr. Nyamadonko, advised that, why don't you go to Winneba and then do sports? Because already you are in the sports. And so that is a good idea. So that year, that was 2006, I went and then wrote the entrance exams, matured, and I qualified. Okay. So I went into the University of Education for 4 years. And then during the last year, the 4th year, before the 4th year, you have to go out and do 1 year internship. Okay. So a friend introduced Presec to me. So that year we were 4 that came to Presec. We met Boy Bedu and then Kofuri. Okay. And we worked. That very year we worked. We worked for inter-school. And we did our best. I was in charge of handball. Okay. The others also took the other disciplines. And we did our best. I remember handball, we were third. At the time, we Achimota beat us So Achimota went to the finals. And
Don't say it loudly. Don't say it loudly. Don't say it loudly. but you will come to some of the competitions that you have experienced.
Yeah.
But what was your training like in Winneba?
In Winneba, we are trained in all fields because you'll be going to a school, and sometimes you'll be one only person in the school, so you have to handle all the teams. So we are trained across. But my area was in handball. That was where my interest was. So I developed much into handball. So when I came here, that was what I've been handling so far. Yeah.
But SecTech is also a very good school in sports, because I went to sixth form in Ghana, and they were one of the top schools. I mean, it was hard to beat them in anything.
Yes.
Whether it was football, athletics, whatever.
And everything. Yeah.
They were very tough.
Yeah.
Tough enough to crack.
Yes.
You know. So when you were there, you didn't do any sports.
Not at all.
Hey.
As I am telling you, the body size, you know, and also the background where I was coming from. By then, my father wasn't with us. He was far away, and it was only my mom. And so he will tell you, when you go and you play and you get injured, you will lie down and die. So that alone
Put you off.
Put me off.
Yeah.
In order not to get injured and all that. So I didn't go into...
Yeah, but there are some sports you don't do because it's very, very physical. But you could be doing long distance. I mean, usually long distance runners are short, small people. You know, you don't get a tall people doing it that much. You know, and other games. You know.
Yeah.
But what was your training like at the university?
At the university,
as you were being prepared as a coach.
Okay.
What was the training like? Because I remember Bob Badu was telling us about how you have to maybe run around the field, do certain things, you know.
Yes. At Winneba, in fact, we are not trained as coaches.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a difference between coaching and teaching physical education.
That's purely...
Yes.
Okay, because I'll come and ask you that question. The difference between physical education...
Yes, they are not the same.
Okay.
So, we are taught to teach. We are taught to teach. So we teach physical education. But in physical education, we have bits of coaching.
Like instructors?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have bit of coaching in it. And so that is what we use when we come to the schools. Okay. And as you look at it, every school should have had a coach or coaches. So that those of us who are trained from Winneba will concentrate on the teaching
aspect of it.
Okay. So that the coaches will handle the teams. Okay. But it's all about government's ability to recruit and pay. So if there is someone there who can teach and then also manage to coach these little ones, then why not? Allow them to do that. Okay,
then you throw some light on what physical education, which we call PE then. Yeah. And what like sports education. Well, I mean, is there a correlation? There must be a correlation, but what's the difference?
All right. So when you talk about PE is for all. Okay. It's about physical activities that is structured to bring and to promote health. Okay, so that is physical. So we teach through the physicals, doing it. Okay. And as you do that, it helps the body in health. So you gain some skills, you gain some values, and that will help you grow well and live well, as in your well-being. And then when you come to sports is not for everybody. Sports is for selected, the skillful. So in a way, you can say that sports is discriminatory.
Yes, it's for competition.
It's competition.
Yes.
So sports is competition. So sports is an aspect of physical education. Okay. So that is the difference.
Okay. All right. I get it. You know, so you teach physical education.
Yes.
So in Presec, you teach in the class before you go to the field.
Okay, so here physical education is both theory and practical.
Practicals.
Practical 70%, theory 30%. And so we teach in the classroom and then also come to the field and do the practical aspect. But we want to we spend more time on the practical because it's supposed to be physical activity. 70% of the duration should be practical.
What are some of the teaching methods, do you use now? Because I know there are other places where they use videos to show performances and techniques, especially when it comes to professional athletes and stuff. But how do you teach it here?
Okay, here we don't have those technologies and then those facilities. Like you're saying, we should have a gym. Okay, so a gym is an indoor open space, so where you can maybe project an athlete training, an athlete running, a player playing, kicking, and all that. But we don't have that. So in the practical class, you need to demonstrate some of these skills. And the children that come, they are not empty. They are not empty. So you might get one or two who already know the skill that you want to teach. So you bring them in, and then they help in teaching their peers. You put them into groups and other stuff so that you could have a successful class.
Okay.
So more of demonstration, and it is child-centered. You let them do it.
Okay.
And in PE, you are not looking for perfection. You are not
Participation.
looking participation.
Okay.
So they run, they jump, they do all that, they sweat, and then they are
Do you have any teaching aids?
Yes, we have, but I would say they are inadequate. Yes,
Minimum.
yeah, they are inadequate.
And how many students would you have first, like in a session or in a class?
All right.
Session?
So it depends on the department. If you are dealing with the science department, then you are talking about 60
in a class.
Okay. 60, let's say averagely 55. Okay. If you are dealing with the arts, it's almost same number. Business a little bit down. Visual arts lower. Yeah.
And what times did they? Because I remember a time we used to do maybe something like the first 2 periods. You go and do something. You know, or maybe before you go and have your breakfast, you do something.
Okay. So looking at our numbers here, before coming to the studio, I just closed from a class.
Okay.
That is around last period, 2:30 to 3:30, under this hot sun. Yes. So that is the numbers, and so all our periods in the morning. So it is spread across, so that other subjects also would.
And what's the typical class like? So let's say you, as you are saying, it's like physical activity. So what would a typical class do?
A typical class, we have routines. Immediately they come and we meet them for the first time. We spell out, we discuss the routines, and then so they know. Come, if the first meeting, if you are introducing a skill for the first time, we discuss about that discipline. Let's say handball. So our first meeting, we look at the theory aspect. So the history behind handball, the rules and dimensions and everything. We talk about that one. If we have more time, because a period is just 1 hour.
Yeah.
So if we have extra time, we warm up. At least they should feel of coming. So after that one, then our next meeting, we introduce the skill. Within the first meeting, we introduce the skill, demonstrate it, let them know how it is done. Then when they come, then we enter into the game, the practical class itself. So the practical class, we start with a general warm-up. Then we move into specific warm-up. Then from there, we do a little stretching. Then we start introducing the skill bit by bit.
Okay, so whether there are certain tests that are done before the kids are asked to do any physical activity.
All
Or
right.
some people could be asthmatic.
Asthmatic.
Some people are a little disabled. You know, do you have you make room for all those sort of
Yes. Fortunately, when the first years come, I think a medical facility has this thing with the school that they come to
So then I go a physical exam.
a physical examination. They do that.
Okay.
Then also during the orientation, the department is invited, so we inform them. If you have any medical condition,
Should let you know.
let us know. Bring documents. Let us know so that we prepare for you.
Okay.
So we do consider all that, and we don't discriminate whether you are physically challenged or
not.
P is for all. So whatever will let you do to feel part
Of it.
of the class, will let you do. If you take and you cannot, practice in the dust and those things, of course, you can take records for us. You can officiate.
Okay.
So we involve